Hi guys, welcome to the SavaniSis beach resort.
Today we want to talk about the secret to happiness is confronting yourself.
Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, today we want to talk about the secret of happiness, and that is actually confronting yourself, really getting to know thyself. So how do you do that? How do you get to know yourself when there's so many distractions around? You're so outwardly focused all the time. How do you actually get to know what's you? Now you may think, I know myself, I know I'm this person and I'm that and I have this and I have that.
And these are my likes and dislikes.
Yeah, these are my friends, this is my family, this is where I live, that's my car.
Yeah.
I know myself, right? This is all me.
We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about external things. When you die, you leave all those things behind.
Exactly.
Right?
So who are you really?
So who are you? Who are you? You're not even this flesh. You're not even this hair. You're not even this makeup, right?
Yeah.
You're not
those things.
You're not these things. Who are you really? Getting to the core of who you are. When you do that, when you know thyself, that is when you feel joy, you feel bliss, you feel connected to everything in the universe. Now, how do you do that? How do you get to know yourself? Well, first of all, you've got to take yourself away from all these distractions. There are so many out there, especially now with media 24/7. You have social media 24/7. Back in the day, not so long ago, when I was a little girl, there was no social media. There was not even enough channels on the TV. I'm showing my age now.
Yeah.
So, there were fewer distractions. People would go out in nature. People had more time to think, contemplate, and actually maybe get to know themselves a bit more. But even then, there were still distractions.
Yeah.
So the key thing, now wait for it, this is a secret to knowing yourself. It's to be still. Be still and be with yourself. So what is that? Well, that could be in the form of meditation. Meditation is, you can have guided meditations, but you can also be sitting and just being still with yourself. Close your eyes because you want to block out the environment, so you don't want to be distracted. You may want to put some earphones in your ears and not necessarily have to listen to something, or you can if you want to. But that could also be a bit of a distraction. So you get guided meditations which all serve their purpose, but you may want to just have this stillness.
Stillness, it's just quietness.
Quietness, yes. So what happens when you do that? Well, let me tell you, a lot of people, including I have been through this as well, can't even sit still for 5 minutes with yourself, right? What will happen? You either get a bit anxious, agitated, frustrated, even angry, impatience, or some of those things will come up for you when you sit with yourself in stillness. The other thing that happens is you have racing thoughts. You sit still for 5 minutes and all you can think about is all the things that you've got to do, all the things that are in the past. You're either thinking about the past or you're worried about the future, and that's what's going to come up. Now this is interesting because that's good. What you're doing then is actually you're listening to your thoughts. When do you ever listen to your thoughts? Now you can't be self-aware and listen to every single thought you have, because you have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, right? Yeah. And that's impossible. You'd be exhausted if you did that. However, you will have thoughts in those 5 minutes when you sit with yourself, and 5 minutes doesn't sound long. 5 minutes goes very quickly when you're on Facebook or social media. 5 minutes goes very quickly when you're chatting to your friend, but as soon as you're sitting in stillness, 5 minutes feels like an eternity, right? Yes. We've all been there, haven't we? So the thing that's going to frustrate you also is the thoughts, because you think, well, I'm supposed to be meditating, I'm not supposed to be thinking of anything. But in fact, that's not the case. It's okay if you've got thoughts in your head. Let me tell you that. It's okay. The key thing about this is you're not attaching yourself to those thoughts. You're just observing them coming and going. You can even slightly have a little laugh about them and say, there's that thought again. Just watch it and let it go. Watch it and let it go. No judgment, no other thoughts about those thoughts. Just watch
and let it go.
And let go. And you have to keep doing that until you do get to a point that you may experience this stillness. Now, in this stillness, what happens is, and you may only experience it for a few seconds, but that is profound if you can get to that state, even for a few seconds. In those seconds, you will be connected
to the ether,
to the quantum field, to
universal
divine
consciousness.
intelligence. And from there, you'll be able to download lots of information. Okay, so you may have a question about something, or you may have certain desires. And at that moment of stillness, you'll be able to access information that you could never access if you were just carrying about your day as usual.
And it will enable you to figure it all out.
Yes, and in fact, what will happen is you'll be able to figure everything out in those few seconds. This experience is very surreal. What will happen is that hundreds of bits of information will come to you in one go. Now you may think, well, how am I going to make sense of that information? But somehow you do. In this stillness, everything makes sense, but it happens in such a short space of time that it doesn't make logical sense how you can gather 100 bits of information and it still makes all sense to you. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this is because I've had this experience. It felt like lots of information entered into my brain, into my field within a few seconds, and it was like a box full of information. But somehow it didn't feel jumbled up to me. Somehow I could make sense of it. So after the meditation, I just scribbled it all down before I lose it and just wrote it all down so that I've got it all on paper. So if you have this experience, it's going to be amazing for you, and that's going to motivate you to do this stillness exercise more and more. Now, if you say to yourself, well, I've tried the 5 minutes and I feel it's impossible, it's so hard, just persevere with it, because this is the secret to happiness. Keep persevering with it. So start off with 5 minutes, start off with 2 minutes, just do 1 minute of stillness, and then increase it gradually and try and aim for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Now, the most successful people in the world actually do this. They sit with themselves. Some successful people even go into a room, close all the lights, and just sit still with themselves. And that's when they get this inspiration, these amazing ideas. People like Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, they got their genius inspirations through this higher field, this higher faculty. When you're out of the way, in other words, when your ego's out of the way, your thoughts are out of the way, you're able to access this higher power. And the information that you access is something incredible. It's never something that's pretty average. It's incredible. And it may not even make logical sense. You've obtained it from the divine, right?
The divine.
Yes. And another thing is these spiritual masters and gurus also do this, and they're very good at doing this. They can sit for hours in that state of stillness. That's amazing. You know, if you can't do it for 5 minutes, the thought of doing it for hours. And some gurus have had some spiritual experiences where they're able to sit in this state for days or weeks. Now you think, how are they going to eat or do all the things that the bodily function does? But actually, you're almost separate from your body, so you don't have this attachment to your physical body. It's almost like you enter a different realm, another dimension, and you don't function like a physical human being. You transcend all of that, and you transcend the illusion, the Maya, we call it, of this world when you're in that stillness. Now, when you have that stillness, you also access joy, you access bliss, you know yourself more, you know the core of who you are. You're no longer attached to those thoughts and what you have and what you don't have and the people you know and the places you go to. All of that just goes, and you actually experience pure bliss, and that is our divine right. It's our divine nature. It's our default setting to be blissful and joyful no matter what is going on outside of you. And ultimately, that's what we all want to achieve. Even if you think that's not what you want, that is actually what you want.
That's what everyone ultimately and fundamentally wants. True freedom and liberation, and a perpetual cycle of bliss and ecstasy.
So think about it, guys. Just put this into your practice, even if it's for 2 minutes.
Stillness.
Yes. What you want to do is that you want to train your body. Your body is actually the master right now, and your mind, your brain, is the servant. You know, it's kind of listening to all your bodily needs. yeah, your body's saying, oh, I need this chocolate cake right now. So your brain is going to say, okay. But what if your brain became the master? Your brain said, I'm going to sit you down, body, and I'm going to keep you still. You obey me. You become the master. So sitting there and allowing yourself to be still, physically still, is a huge thing, right? And then you want to move to that mentally still, being mentally still in your mind as well. So your physical stillness is a huge achievement. If you can sit for 5 minutes without moving, that's amazing.
You've overcome your body, then you start to overcome time, and you overcome your environment.
Yes.
Therefore, you are now the master.
And that is when you connect to the quantum field, because you forget about your identity, you forget about the things and places and stuff that you own. You actually are no longer all those things. You are your true self, and that true self is what's connecting to the divine. And that's when you feel no separation, you feel joy, you feel bliss, you feel connected, you feel love towards everything and everyone. So all we can say for today's video is practice being still. Even if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, keep practicing and start to feel that bliss within.
And activate that Sukha, your inner joy. I hope that was a cute little inspiration for you. Give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we shall see you on the next video.
Bye for now.